Setting up Mailgun SMTP. Hey there, this is Emmanuel with the ClickFunnels training team, and in this video we will be going over how to set up Mailgun as your SMTP email integration. This will be helpful if you want to send emails to your customers via the funnel automation and follow-up funnels. By the end of this video, you should be able to answer: what is Mailgun? What would I need Mailgun for? What do I need in order to integrate with Mailgun? And how do I integrate Mailgun into my ClickFunnels account? Prior to getting started, you will need to have an active ClickFunnels account, a Mailgun account, and a domain in ClickFunnels. Mailgun is one of the third-party SMTP services supported by ClickFunnels. Just like any other SMTP provider, it will allow you to deliver emails to your customers' inboxes. It's very important to note that you must have a credit card on file with Mailgun to connect the integration via API. Now, let's go over the process of integrating Mailgun as your SMTP in your ClickFunnels account. So the first thing that you will need to do is add a custom domain in Mailgun. Mailgun needs your custom domain to generate a series of records that you will need to add to your domain host. So first, you will need to log into your Mailgun account. Then you will click on Sending on the left sidebar. Next, you will click on Domains. On the new screen, you will go ahead and click on the Add New Domain button. On the domain name field, you will go ahead and add your domain. It's worth noting that Mailgun suggests using a subdomain such as mailgun.yourdomain.com or mg.yourdomain.com. I will go ahead and use mg as my subdomain and then add the domain registered through ClickFunnels. After this, you will go ahead and choose your domain region. Mailgun provides two regions to send your emails from: United States and the European Union. As an option, you can go ahead and click on the Advanced Settings to select your domain keys identify mail key length. By default, a 1024 domain keys identified mail key length is selected by Mailgun. Finally, you will go ahead and click on the Add Domain button. Now it's important to keep this tab open since we are going to add the records generated by Mailgun into our domain host. So Mailgun will require you to add 2 TXT records, 2 MX records, and 1 CNAME record in your domain host. For the purpose of this article and this video, we will show you how to add those records using a domain purchased or registered through ClickFunnels. If you are using an external custom domain, please check our documentation for the one supported by our platform or contact your domain host for help. So in a separate tab, you will log into your ClickFunnels account, then you will hover over the main menu and click on Account Settings. From the left sidebar, you will click on Domains. Then you will click on your domain to access the settings. You can also click on the 3 dots here and then on Edit to access the domain settings. Then you will locate the Edit Zone Records section and click on Expand. And here is where we will add the records generated in Mailgun. To retrieve the first TXT record, we're going to go back to Mailgun. So back in Mailgun, we're going to start copying the records to add them to our domain host, in this case to ClickFunnels. So first we're going to copy the first TXT record, and we're just going to copy the subdomain that you registered in step 1 of this process. So in this case, since I used mg, that's what I'm going to copy here. But to make things go a bit faster, I'm just going to remember that and copy the value here. To do that, I'm going to click on the copy icon. Then I'm going to go back to ClickFunnels to add the first TXT record. Back in ClickFunnels, we're going to click on the Add button. Then we're going to select TXT from the Type drop-down menu, and we're going to add our subdomain in the name field. Then we're going to paste the value in the value field. And finally, we're going to go ahead and click the Save button. Now we're going to go back to Mailgun to retrieve the second TXT record. Back in Mailgun, once again, we're going to copy only the first part of the host name up until my subdomain. So before the .yourdomain.com. Then we're going to go back to ClickFunnels to paste that into our name field. So back in ClickFunnels, we're going to again add a new TXT record, select TXT from the type drop-down menu, paste the host name in the name field. Once we have done that, we're going to go back to Mailgun to retrieve the value. In our Mailgun account, we're going to hit the copy icon again to copy this value. Then we're going to go back to ClickFunnels to paste it. Again, in ClickFunnels, we're going to paste the value here. And finally, we're going to click Save. Now we're going to start adding the MX records. For that, we need to go back to Mailgun. So it's time to add the two MX records. And as you can see here, for the name, it will only be your subdomain, in my case, MG. So I'm going to go ahead and remember that. And for the value, the only thing that changes is that you have an MXA and an MXB. So I'm going to just copy the first one here, and I'm going to change the other one in ClickFunnels. So back in ClickFunnels, we're going to select an MX record from the type drop-down menu, enter MG as the name, and paste the value, which is mxa.mailgun.org. We're going to hit Save, and then we're going to add the second MX record. So in the value, I'm just going to change the A for the B, and hit Save. Finally, we're going to go ahead and retrieve the CNAME record in Mailgun. From our Mailgun account, we're going to just copy email.mg. We're going to remember that the value is just mailgun.org, and we're going to go back to ClickFunnels to add our CNAME record. From the type drop-down menu, we're going to select CNAME. We're going to paste our name, and for the value, this will just be mailgun.org. Finally, we're going to click Save. So now we have the two TXT records, the two MX records, and the CNAME record. So we're going to go back to Mailgun to verify these records. So once you've added those records to your domain host, you need to come back to Mailgun. So first we're going to click on this button here below Wait for your domain to verify its section. And in this case, since my TXT records were already verified, I didn't need to click on the other button. But you will probably need to click on that button as well, just to verify your records and to make sure that you've added those records to your domain host. After verifying your records, you will select SMTP as your option to send emails. So you will click on the Select button here. And this will take us to the third and final step of this process, which is completing your SMTP integration. For this, we're going to go back to ClickFunnels and finish our process. So back in your ClickFunnels account, you will navigate to the left sidebar and click on Email Integrations, SMTP. Then you will click on the Add Email Integration button. This button will show only if you currently have other SMTP email integrations added to your account. If you don't have any other SMTP email integrations added to your account, you will just have to choose an email type you want to set up. So for this case, we're going to select transactional and marketing. And from here, you will need to complete all fields in the configuration form with the required info. The title, we're going to keep it simple and just choose Mailgun. This is just for internal reference and not visible to email recipients. The from name is the name that will be displayed as the email sender. The from email will be the email address displayed as the sender. When setting up an SMTP service, it is recommended to avoid using a free from email address such as Gmail, Yahoo, or Outlook, among others. These do not allow mass email sending. If you need to set up a business email address using your domain, please check the link provided in the article. For the SMTP server, you will add smtp.mailgun.org. For the SMTP port, you will choose 587. The SMTP user should be postmaster@yoursubdomain.yourdomain.com. The subdomain is the one you registered in Mailgun. In my case, the subdomain I registered was MG. The SMTP password is the one generated by Mailgun. If we go back to Mailgun, you can retrieve that password under the How to Send with SMTP section. So we're going to go ahead and copy this password, go back to ClickFunnels, and paste it in the SMTP password field. The SMTP domain is the domain that you previously verified in Mailgun. It is very important that you insert only the domain name. Do not use www or HTTP or HTTPS. So again, since I used mg as my subdomain, I'm going to add mg.mydomain.net. Next, you will need to choose a domain from the domain drop-down menu. In this case, I'm going to select my domain here. After this, you will need to go ahead and fill all the address information. You will need to enter your business physical address using the corresponding fields. And finally, you will need to add an SMTP footer. This is the information that will be included in the footer for all of your emails. This area supports HTML code, and you can copy the snippet provided in the article, paste it into the field, and just edit the company name, address, phone number, and the rest of the information to your actual information. Before saving, you can toggle the default SMTP integration switch on this if you want this SMTP to be your default SMTP. And finally, to save your changes, you will go ahead and click on the Save SMTP Integration button. You will see a success notification on the top right-hand corner of your screen informing you that the SMTP has been successfully created. And that's it for this video on setting up Mailgun as your SMTP email integration in your ClickFunnels account. Thanks for watching.